Happy anniversary! So romantic, aren't I?
Yeah, you come up with the best dates.
All the Australian snacks, cherry ripes, bananas. Oh dear.
We haven't had ladyfingers in ages. Can we take these?
Yeah, I think so. We'll see. If we don't make it back, that's the reason.
Sorry.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and welcome to Funderburg, aka Bundaberg. We are here, first dive trip of Australia. It's actually our 9-year wedding anniversary today, and me being super romantic, we're going diving. Plan is to head out, dive some inshore areas. Haven't been using this boat in a very long time. One of the last trips we'll have on it because we're selling it. More on that later. For safety reasons, going to eat the banana before we go out. Super green, so powdery. I will miss this boat, but we just don't use it enough, given that it's on the other side of the world to where we live. Just gonna pull up quickly here on this sandbar, getting our wetsuits before crossing the bar because this boat is a wet boat. It was actually 10 years ago on this boat on a very similar sandbank that I asked you to marry me, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
And what did you say? What was the first thing you said?
Are you serious?
That's exactly what you said.
Did you ask my mother?
Didn't ask Hannah's mother.
I don't know.
But look, who wouldn't want a son-in-law like me?
The first place I want to check out is only a few kilometers offshore. We've got light winds and low swell.
I need to replace my transducer so the sounder doesn't actually read the bottom, it just tells me the depth, so it's a little hard to find these spots, but diving a wreck here, and I think I found it looking at the depth measurement going from 16 to about 12 meters, so I'm sure that must be the wreck. It's just over there. We're anchored up. What we're looking for, not too fussy. A coral trout would be lovely, a finger mark, a tusk fish, anything like that. But we're not going to be too picky without a sounder. So within 2 minutes of being anchored, we've seen a turtle and a big humpback and some dolphins. Not bad.
Sea playground. This is where we are.
I'm hoping for decent visibility here and have my homemade double-banded 120. I'd prefer a shorter gun hunting in and around the wrecks, but unfortunately I couldn't bring my Orca 100 over to Australia with me from the UK. The visibility doesn't look amazing with a milkiness about it. I spot this small coral trout on the side of the wreck, but it would have been borderline legal length, so I was happy to see it swim off. Over there on the front of the wreck, there is an okay-sized black spot tuskfish. There were more wrecks to check out in the area, so I was keen to give this one last dive and move on. Sometimes you will get fish hanging off the sand near the wrecks, which is why I'm looking out there. I have found a lot of tuskfish like this in the past. All those strange noises you can hear are the humpback whales in the area on their annual migration. I haven't shot one of these in more than 10 years.
Hey. Hello, little silver trevally. Good sashimi. Certainly a sign that we've spent too much time abroad when I'm happy to shoot a silver trevally on the Great Barrier Reef. These things make awesome sashimi and carpaccio, so that's exactly what we're going to do with this one. I saw a small coral trout down there, probably a little bit borderline, so I didn't take it. And then also saw a tuskfish on the first dive, but didn't find him again. So we'll move spots and see if we can get a little bit more to feed the extended family.
The next wreck we moved to had loads more fish on it. These are big eye trevally, and they were all over the place, swirling around. You can easily differentiate these big eye trevally from giant trevally with the white tips on the dorsal and anal fins. This feature is absent in giant trevally.
There's a lot of fish on this one. Big golden trevallies, big eye trevallies, all sorts of trevallies.
Now that I have my bearings on the wreck, I want to check over the side and see if there are any fish lurking in the perimeter. These are golden trevally, and some in this shoal are well over 10 kilograms. They fight dirty and will tangle you on a wreck instantly without a perfect shot. I wasn't entirely happy with the shot presented, so I left them alone this time. I did, however, come back a few days later with my brother-in-law, and one presented a much nicer shot for me.
That's how you shoot golden trevally.
This one came in at just under 12 kilograms. Now, let's go back to the anniversary dive with Hannah. As Hannah and I both came down on the wreck, we got to see this pair of beautiful eagle rays. Sometimes you get cobia hanging with rays like this, but not today.
Another silver trevally.
We moved on to another wreck, and this one is an aeroplane. It feels like my GoPro 10 just doesn't want to work properly in the southern hemisphere. Every trip since getting to New Zealand, I've had an issue, and this dive was no exception, with it cutting out halfway through the dive just before spearing a fish.
It's only small, but it's a grassy emperor. Beautiful whole baked that size. This is a grassy emperor. You can tell this from a spangled emperor because one, it has blue lines around here under its eyes, and it has a red mouth. I don't think the spangle has quite the red mouth as that. It's also got a really white, distinct chin there. Spangled emperor also don't have that. And this has no yellow on it, and the dorsal fins are got a bit of a pink hue to them. Spangled emperor are very yellow. Although, I'm not going to dress it up. It's a small one, but they are beautiful to eat at that size, any size really. These are a great little emperor. These have to be 300 mil. This one's well in. What is it, Han?
He's 35.
Easy. See a few fish swirling around on it.
You can just see like a white outline.
Yep, that's it. Yep.
Visibility seemed a little better at this one, as we could just make out the top of the boiler part of the wreck, as well as some fish milling around it. Once again, covered in big eye trevally, but the boss of this wreck was this giant Queensland grouper. Similar to the Goliath grouper, although a separate species, they will inhabit wrecks like this and steal fish from you once they have been speared. I couldn't help feeling that this fish was eyeing me up to see if I was going to provide it with an easy meal. The next drop I wanted to check out on the sand for any fish, as well as under the front of the ship. I'm sure there had to be something other than trevallies around here somewhere. Sure enough, a mangrove jack.
One thing that you do tend to find on wrecks like this is fingermark and mangrove jack, which are all the Janidae species. Very similar to what happened in Dubai earlier this year. Saw it under the front of the wreck, under the bow, and then it went into a hole, and I sort of came around and saw a little bit more of it. Terrible shot in there, but out there, but got it for dinner, so that's the main thing. It's your typical sort of maybe 2.5, 3 kilogram mangrove jack that you get in this part of the world. Very nice eating, and they're a really nice fish to look at. They get over 15 kilograms, these things, in certain circumstances, but this is the best size to eat.
I was hoping the commotion from shooting the mangrove jack would attract something out of the sand towards the wreck. One last dive for the day. Some people say this is the best eating fish in Australia. They aren't in my top 5 fish to eat, but I can tell you for sure that they are not the smartest fish in Australia.
What did you get?
I got a Plectropimus maculatus.
What is that in English and not Latin?
In Anglais, barcheek coral trout.
Woo! Oh, it's beautiful.
I'm coming to the light. Coral trout are certainly not known for their intelligence. This one was just sitting there staring at me. Sometimes if you wait too long, they'll bolt, so I took the front on shot. Skewered it a little bit, but it's in the boat.
Very nice, Dan.
This is the barcheek coral trout. You can see by the beautiful blue bars on its face. I believe this is Plectropimus maculatus. There's Plectropimus lepidus, which is the common trout, which has just small spots over the front, and there's a few other species. I actually have a video on that. There's 7 species of coral trout, but we only get 5 in Australia. But this one, super tasty.
You happy?
Yeah, that's what I was after. I think maybe shooting that mangrove jack up the front caused some commotion and got the coral trout out. They're normally pretty curious animals. Sometimes I've even had them staring at my stainless steel anchor and chain, which is one of the main reasons why I have a stainless steel anchor and chain.
Is it really?
Yeah, totally. Fish love it because it's always shiny. It's like a giant flasher. It rocks gently in the swell and stuff. So, yeah. Plus, no maintenance, and it never gets rusty. I hate rust. That'll probably do us for today, won't it?
Yeah. Daniel, is that a big coral trout, or is that a nice size?
It's a really nice coral trout. It's probably about, so maybe 3.5, 4 kilograms. That particular species gets to a maximum of about 10 or 11 kilograms. I think Trevor Ketchian has the Australian record for those. But if you get one anything over 5 kilograms, it's a really stud fish. But that's a gorgeous one. That's perfect.
A quick strip off once inside the bar and home time.
With the small trevallies, I'm just going to take the fillets off and keep the frames because we're going to throw the boats back in and try and get some mud crabs a little bit later in the day. I think for the coral trout, I'll take the fillets off. I'm going to keep the skin and try that crispy skin, keep the wings, and then maybe boil the head down for a stock or try and just get the meat out of the head because they're super tasty. Mangrove jack, I think I will try and reverse butterfly so I can put that whole on the barbecue. And for the grassy emperor, I might keep that whole because that's a really good one to either deep fry whole, do it in Asian style, or just bake it because they're a delicious fish. That's the trevally fillet. It's quite firm and a bit jelly-like. That will be super delicious raw. They are very nice white fillets on these coral trout. In my opinion, that's probably the best part of the coral trout to actually eat. Barbecue that, job done. This mangrove jack is reverse butterflied. I've taken the spine out. You would have seen that on my New Zealand video when I did it with the scorpion fish. Wings, skins, fillets, rest is going to the crab pots.
That's good.
Fireplace and a sunset. Does it get any better?
Is there a particular place that we want to put prawn?
Decent.
Delicious. I don't know. Cover anything in lime raw, it's delicious.
Savage. As usual, when I'm in the kitchen, I get far too focused and completely forgot to film a lot of the stuff last night, but that's for good reason. I haven't seen Hannah's side of the family in nearly 4 years, so I was just too engrossed in conversation to really worry about filming. But if you've watched this channel before, you would have seen all those recipes and methods before. Tomorrow, though, I am very excited to be packing the boat and taking it north of the coast here to go chase a fish that I am particularly fond of, a latest calcarifer, the barramundi. I am going with current Australian champion Timothy McDonald and going to be using my 80 centimeter roller gun that I built specifically for these fish about 8 or 9 years ago. It works really, really well, and hopefully the next video that you'll see on this channel will be some barramundi action. If you'd like to see that video and stay up to date on the new stuff coming out, please consider subscribing. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It actually makes a difference for us, and we'll see you on the next video.
Gorge by midges.
So what happens when you're in Gladstone, mate?